I'm lesbian, but I'm starting to develop feelings for my childhood best friend, and I think he is too. How do I confess without ruining our friendship? My childhood best friend is a boy my age who moved onto our street when he was 11 years old. He and I were outdoors a lot, and so we naturally started talking a little. We kinda became besties very soon and would do things like go to the store together and buy ice cream or play video games at each other's houses. Kids around our neighborhood teased us about this and would often sing songs about how we were sitting in a tree and kissing, but this never really bothered us, as in my eyes we were only friends. That was only confirmed to me when I turned 14 and started realizing that I was lesbian. Guys never caught my eye, but girls did, and I opened up to my best friend about this. He was extremely supportive and encouraged me to be myself. However, a year later his parents saw me kissing a girl, and since they were homophobic, they tried stopping him from hanging out with me. He rebelled against them, however, saying I was his best friend and he would be there for me all the time. This led to a huge fight between them, and he got kicked out of the house because he refused to relent. And so my parents and I took him in. When I asked him why he decided to ruin his relationships with his parents for me, he pointed at the bracelet he was wearing, which I made for him when I was 13. A bracelet which said "Best Friends Forever." And so he was now living with us. Throughout this time I found my first girlfriend at 16 and introduced her to him, and he seemed to really like her. But there was one problem, and it was that she did not like him. She was convinced I was bi because I didn't look fully lesbian and demanded I sever ties with my best friend. Something I of course did not do, and so I dumped her. When he asked me why I didn't dump him as my best friend, I pointed at my friendship bracelet he made for me when he was 13. When he was 17 he found his first girlfriend, and she was incredibly sweet and a very good person. I wholeheartedly supported their relationship, but then one night she got extremely baked off the Zaza and tried to kiss me. I told my best friend and it broke his heart. He broke up with her for that. When it was time to head off for college, me and him made sure to choose the same college, because we were, as we put it, soul friends. We ended up both moving out and into the same dorm where we started living together. And this is when I started noticing little things that made me question whether or not I was into him. I remember coming home from a date with a cute girl where she unfortunately stood me up, and this was a heartbreaker for me as I had not been on a date since my first ever girlfriend, which was 3 years ago by that point. Upon hearing this, my best friend canceled his plans to stay with me and comfort me, choosing to watch a movie with me and eat some ice cream. We had so much fun that night, and he started telling jokes as he is truly a comedian at heart, and he made me laugh so hard I almost peed myself and had to excuse myself to calm down. That night I felt something between us, a sort of connection that transcended a platonic state, but I let it go thinking it was nothing. Well, a few weeks later I was feeling stressed out about college and he gave me a giant hug to calm me down, something he has done before. And I do not know why, but this hug was different. I remember holding on to him with my head against his chest and feeling so at ease, and later that day my mind kept wandering back to that hug. A few weeks later he was getting ready to go out and he put on a cologne and asked me to smell it, and when I did I felt butterflies in my stomach. And then he did something which shattered my perception of being a lesbian. I was in his room when he asked me to smell the cologne, and after I did he decided that the shirt he was wearing he didn't like, so he took it off and started rummaging through the closet while topless. My eyes kinda went wide and I'm pretty sure my face flushed when I saw his lean and toned body, and that night I stayed awake thinking about him. The very next day I asked him about the night out and he told me it would have been better if I was there, and that made my heart skip a beat. I knew I had a crush on him at that point. Now my question is, how do I confess this to him? I think he has picked up on the signs because he has taken his top off in front of me one more time since then and teased me about the fact I was blushing. He also sometimes gets behind me and pokes my sides when I least expect it, and last week he hugged me from behind and kissed the top of my head lightly, thanking me for always being there for him. I'm so in love with him.